Good morning. It is Jane. And on today's, I guess I'm calling this Healthier You. I don't know if it's what you would call it. Weight loss. Hashtag 50 gone by 2025. I don't know. Anyway, I have a subject that I thought I would talk about because I've noticed that it's become kind of something big that's out there again. As many of you know, I follow pretty much a keto diet or a low-carb diet. But this diet can be found among keto people. It is a carnivore diet. So we're going to discuss a carnivore diet today, or at least I'm going to tell you a little bit about it. However, let's start with the medical disclaimer. Always check with your physician before starting any exercise program or diet program. Information here is my personal research into different health topics and not to be considered medical advice. All right. What is a carnivore diet? Well, carnivore diets have been around for quite some time. You'd be surprised. As far back as 1700s. So in 1797, there was a Dr. John Rollo, who successfully treated patients with type 2 diabetes using a diet that consisted primarily of meat and fat, after studying the low-carbohydrate diet of indigenous people in St. Lucia. After discovering that a very low-carb diet benefited those with diabetes, it became a widely adopted treatment for managing this condition until the discovery of insulin in 1921. Now, Dr. Sean Baker is one who has basically popularized this diet. He authored a book called The Carnivore Diet in 2018, finding that this benefited his health. Okay? Now, we're going to talk a little bit about what a carnivore diet is, what it kind of consists of, those kind of things. So we're going to get into it. It's very popular for those who would like to lose weight, who have diabetes, who have some other issues that are going on within their body. And so I thought we would talk about what it actually is, what it entails. There are quite a few people on YouTube that advocate doing a carnivore diet. One of the ones that comes to mind is Carnivore Quest, and I do follow them. I will tell you that I have vacillated between a carnivore diet and keto, low carb, because it does help with my blood sugars, those kind of things. I am a diabetic. All right, what is the carnivore diet? It is a very restrictive diet that eliminates most plant foods, including fruits, vegetables, and beans. When a person is following a carnivore diet, they rely solely on animal products to meet all or most of their nutritional needs. It's very popular in those who want to lose weight and improve medical conditions such as diabetes. There are numerous health concerns related to this eating pattern, but there are many that argue that a carnivore diet is a healthy way to eat. Now, keep in mind that as humans, we were gatherers when we gathered plants, vegetables, fruit, those kind of things. We were also hunters who primarily sustained our lives with meat in the past. Because of the seasons, many times there was not fruit, vegetables available. So men, women relied on meat during that time. So this is kind of where this takes off with it. we're going to take a little bit of a deep dive in to talk about it, to know what it is, how to follow it, and how this unconventional way may affect health. So, the carnivore diet, like I said, was started by, has become more popularized because of Sean Baker, who is an MD. This version of the carnivore diet advocated for the complete elimination of plant foods and total reliance on meat and other animal products like eggs, seafood, and full-fat dairy products. Some carnivore advocates follow a very strict one that only includes animal-based foods, while others follow a less restrictive that do allow for a small amount of plant-based foods, like some very low-carb vegetables. That is where the keto diet comes in with that one. However, most that follow a carnivore-type diet get most of their calories from meat and other animal foods. Foods that you can eat, although there are different versions of carnivore diet, most follow an eating pattern that primarily consumes animal foods such as meats, steak, pork, ground beef, bison, lamb, venison, organ meats, liver, heart, kidneys, poultry, chicken, duck, and turkey, seafood, salmon, sardines, clams, mussels, and shrimp, full-fat dairy, full-fat yogurt, cheese, and butter, eggs, whole eggs, and egg yolks. In addition to the animal-based foods, people on these diets also allow for seasonings like salt and pepper, herbs, and spices. A 2021 study that included data on the dietary intake of 2,029 people following carnivore-style diets found that red meat products like beef, lamb, and venison were the most commonly consumed foods, followed by eggs and non-milk dairy products. This study also found that over 50% of the participants drank coffee at least once a day. Foods to avoid. People that are following carnivore diets also get their calories only from meat things, so they usually, although there are less restrictive versions of this, the following are usually restricted or completely avoided by those following this eating pattern. It is fruit, berries, apples, grapes, bananas, avocados, and peaches, vegetables, potatoes, zucchini, broccoli, asparagus, and grains and grain-based products, bread, quinoa, rice, pasta, and noodles, nuts and seeds, almonds, cashews, peanut butter, and pumpkin seeds, beans, black beans, chickpeas, kidney beans, and lentils, snack foods and sweets, cookies, chips, ice cream, cakes, and candy, sugary beverages, juice, soda, sweetened coffee drinks, and energy drinks. Water is the preferred beverage when following a carnivore diet, though many who follow this diet do include tea and coffee in their daily routine. Although there are some who will allow a small amount of low-carb veggies like greens and zucchini. What are the benefits? Currently, there is very limited research investigating the health benefits of following a carnivore diet. However, there's plenty of evidence that shows that a very low-carb diets can benefit the health of some people, especially those with type 2 diabetes. Although I've heard even those with type 1 diabetes also do benefit. But they're a little less restrictive for type 1. Although there are no strict rules regarding the macronutrient ratio of carnivore diet, it can generally be considered a type of high-protein, very low-carb diet. Studies show that certain very low-carb diets, like the keto diet, can be helpful for certain health conditions. But keep in mind that very low-carb diets aren't the same thing as the carnivore diet. and there's currently limited evidence that the carnivore diet improves health in any way specifically. It may improve blood sugar regulation. Low-carb diets are effective for improving health outcomes in people with diabetes. That is because diets that are low in carbohydrate-rich foods, which do have the largest impact on blood sugar and insulin levels. If a person is following a carnivore diet, their carbohydrate intake would be minimal, and their blood sugar levels and reliance on diabetes medications would likely decrease. Sorry, I'm looking at a cat who's chewing on my vacuum cleaner hose. She's such a chewer. Anyway, in that 2021 study that they followed, those 2,029 people, they followed them from 9 to 20 months. Researchers found that the participants with type 2 diabetes experienced reductions in their levels of their H1C, which is hemoglobin A1C, which is a long-term marker of blood sugar control, and significant reductions in their diabetes medications use. In fact, among the 262 participants with type 1 or type 2, 84% discontinued oral diabetic medications, and 92% of the participants discontinued their use of insulin. Although these results are promising, more research investigating the effectiveness...
Unknown caller.
Sorry, folks. More research is needed to actually investigate the effectiveness and safety of a carnivore diet. It's also important to note that diabetes can be effectively managed using less restrictive diets, such as plant-based diets and more inclusive low-carb diets, which are far better off for overall health and easier to stick to long-term, which is true. May promote weight loss. The carnivore diet eliminates many foods and beverages implicated in weight gain, such as ultra-processed foods and added sugar. Since this dietary pattern is low in carb-rich foods and high in protein, it is the most filling macronutrient. It's likely that the carnivore diet will promote weight loss, at least in the short term. In the 2021 study mentioned above, the participants reported substantial reductions in their body mass index. That's a measure of body fat based on your height and weight after transitioning to a carnivore diet. While this is encouraging, the carnivore diet is highly restrictive and unlikely unsustainable for most people. Similar diets like the keto diets have also been shown to be effective for short-term weight loss. However, diets that cut out a number of healthy foods like keto are notoriously difficult to stick to, and most evidence suggests that in long term their efficacy is comparable to other less restrictive weight loss diets. This means that even though the carnivore diet may promote quick weight loss, more inclusive diets that are easier to follow are likely just as effective for long-term weight loss and healthy weight maintenance. Other possible benefits. Improvements in overall health, physical and mental well-being, and some very chronic medical conditions. This may be because the carnivore diet cuts out foods and drinks associated with poor physical and mental health, including those ultra-processed foods and added sugars. But keep in mind that the participants included in the study had only been following the carnivore diet for 9 to 20 months. It's unknown how it impacts long-term health, including disease risk. These are some of what they considered risk and side effects. Though proponents of a carnivore diet suggest that this way of eating can help boost weight loss and improve chronic diseases, there are several significant downsides to this way of eating. First, it's extremely restrictive, cuts out foods that are known to improve health and deliver essential nutrients, like fruits and vegetables. Diets low in produce have been consistently linked with an increased risk of several diseases, including cancer, heart disease, as well as overall mortality risk. High intake of red and processed meat has also been associated with an increased risk of several health conditions, including colorectal cancer, breast cancer, colon cancer, and heart disease. Another concern is the environmental impact of a dietary pattern, high in red meat and other animal products. Research shows that red meat production significantly contributes to greenhouse gas emissions and has a considerable impact on global warming and climate change. Excuse my French. What's more, a diet low in plant foods can lead to unpleasant side effects like constipation, fatigue, low mood, nutrient deficiencies, and more. So here's an idea of what someone's typical diet of the day might be. Breakfast, eggs and bacon. Lunch, hamburger patties with cheese. Snack, sardines. Dinner, steak. Keep in mind that some people following a less restrictive diet may include some produce in their diet, like low-carb vegetables. That's not a carnivore diet if you're including vegetables and fruit. Sorry. Anyway, the carnivore diet is a highly restricted diet that's recently become popular amongst those looking to lose weight and improve health conditions like type 2 diabetes. Although limited evidence suggests that following this eating pattern could result in weight loss and improvements in blood sugar levels, there are significant concerns with the long-term health implications of this diet. Following the carnivore diet long-term could increase your risk for a number of serious health conditions such as colorectal cancer and heart disease. And this is what the suggestion for this article that I had read was. If you're looking for a safer, more evidence-based way to better your health, consider trying a less restrictive diet high in foods known to improve overall health, such as a Mediterranean diet or a less restrictive low-carb diet. Now, having said that, if you go and you look at many of these channels who are following a carnivore diet, a full-blown carnivore diet. No added veggies, just meat. Meat byproducts, animal products. You're going to find that a lot of them follow their blood results. In fact, they advocate for you to do that, to advocate for certain tests, to follow things, all kinds of things like that. Now, I have also seen several who have had cancer in the past talk about the fact that they no longer have an evidence of the cancer because they changed over to a carnivore diet. When you get into eating carnivore diet, you do need to keep in mind that there are certain elements that you're going to need in your diet. Magnesium, potassium, some of those things. And a lot of them advocate using a lot of salt. Of course, when you do eat a lot of salt, your potassium levels are going to be pulled out along with the salt and some magnesium, some other things. So they do advocate using some electrolytes to help you out with those kind of things. There are a lot of companies that provide electrolytes that you could drink that don't have any added sugar have a decent flavor, those kind of things that you can add in. So, is this something that I would advise a lot of people to follow? No. It is, like I said, it is very restrictive, and sometimes it's hard to follow. It is hard to follow for a lot of people to follow a keto diet. However, it's also hard for a lot of people to follow a Weight Watchers diet, to follow the Mediterranean diet, you name it. There are a lot of reasons that we have issues with following diets. And of course, I don't like the word diet because it says die it in it. So you're dying it. So it's killing you. So, what I am suggesting is that if you are considering a carnivore diet, that you look into every aspect of it, what it entails. Make sure that your doctor is aware of what you are doing and why you are doing it, and make sure that they are on board with it. And if they are not on board with it, I would consider something else. Now, that is it for this little bit of that research. Like I said, there's a lot of things that they tell you, that you want to avoid. I'm looking at a lot of these things, and a lot of these foods will provide some of those electrolytes that you're missing. Your food will. They do suggest that eating organ meats also helps with that. Helps with a lot of those other issues. So yeah, it's something to consider. The other thing is you're not going to be able to, use wine, alcohol. So yeah. But then again, I have seen a lot of people use this to get some large amounts of weight off and then go into a less restrictive diet, meal eating plan that works for them, that they can handle. There are a lot of people who have had long-term weight loss with these. There are people that have been carnivore for many years, have no issues. There are quite a few MDs that are carnivore eating only. Ken Perry, Sean Baker, trying to think of some of the other doctors' names. But there are quite a few that do follow this and do advocate it, and they do follow those up with numbers, as well as following the health benefits and doing further research into those. So those are some things to look out for when you are considering this type of diet. And as always, remember, there is that medical warning. You do need to make sure that you are checking with your physician, your healthcare team, so that they know what is going on with you and why you are doing it and what your ultimate goal is. Everybody should be on board with the medical health team for that. All right, that's it for today's little video. I hope you did enjoy it. I hope you learned a little bit about carnivore diets. I think there's a lot more research that needs to be done in a lot of some of these diets that are being advocated, because quite frankly, I know people that have been keto for 26, 27 years, and their health numbers and their health is fantastic. Their numbers are great. They have no issues. They've had no health issues. They've reversed a lot of health issues that they had previously. There are a lot of cardiac doctors that are looking at keto diets as well as a way to stop cardiac issues. So who knows? The research will show, in the end, what is working and what is not. All right, guys, remember to be a little kinder to yourself, be kind to one another, and I'll see you again soon. Bye.